Hey everyone, welcome back. I wanted to give y'all an update. It has been a little less than a month and a half. Go through not all the plants, but a couple of them just to show you some of the issues that we've been having and then also some of the wins that we've been having. We're going to go ahead and start with some of the issues, that way we can get those out of the way and talk about some of the successes that we've been having. Once again, it's only been about a month and a half after I planted all of these trees. We did have a week, it was probably 2 weeks after, a good rainfall of about 4 inches, which doesn't happen often down here, but when it does, it completely floods this whole area, like our whole property, not just the garden. And I think that caused some of the issues, so we'll discuss some of that by looking at some of these trees and we'll go from there. All right, first issue we're going to talk about is overwatering. Pretty positive that's what's happening with a lot of the trees, as you can tell by this CDA fig. It has lost a lot, and I mean a lot of leaves, probably a good chunk of the first leaves that actually started with this tree. They're all turning yellow and then they're crisping up. Now, I know it's not a nutrient deficiency because I've taken care of this tree long enough to know when it's nutrient deficient, and this happened in a month and a half. If it was nutrient deficient, it wouldn't have been this quick. So I thoroughly believe, at least with this tree, it's a mixture of overwatering but also transplant shock. And there's a lot of the fig trees that are dealing with what's called fig rust, and these leaves will turn very rusty color and then they'll just drop. And that has nothing to do with the overwatering. That is an issue with fig trees, and there's nothing really you can do about that. Fig rust just happens. You can spray for it, but a lot of people highly suggest you just let the leaves drop. It'll continue like normal, and it really won't affect the figs. So I think it's a mixture of fig rust and overwatering and transplant shock for this tree in particular. Now, the rest of the trees are also showing a little bit of overwatering. For example, the pomegranate, it is showing some yellowing and then the leaves burning also, just like this tree. A lot of other trees are showing the issues also, like the satsuma is curling, and usually that is a sign for citrus trees that they're being overwatered also. So I watered these about a week ago, and I probably won't water them again for another week just to let them dry out. The soil is sandy loam, but then it goes to clay, and the issue with that is clay is going to hold a lot of water. So letting them dry out for 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks, depending on how they look, shouldn't be an issue because there should still be plenty of water in the ground. And especially fig trees, they're completely fine with being drought resistant, or they are drought resistant, so it won't be a huge issue. And the rest of them aren't dying or showing enough overwatering for me to really worry about it, but they're also not showing stopping any growth, so letting everything dry out should be perfectly fine for 2 weeks. So that's one of the main issues I see on a lot of these trees right now, is just overwatering, which makes sense. After, like I said, after I planted these trees, 2 weeks later, there was a massive 4-inch rain, and I then let it dry out for about 2 weeks, but then I watered them again. And while it does drain well and clay does hold water, I probably watered them too soon after that massive downpour. So I'm gonna let them dry out for 2 weeks, like I said, and hopefully these trees look better. This tree is the only tree that looks like it's really doing rough, and I think it's just a mixture of transplant shock and being overwatered. So hopefully I can bring this guy back and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not too detrimental. The rest of the fig trees look pretty good. Some of them are showing signs of overwatering, but that's to be expected. And we'll see how the rest of them look in a week or two. Next thing we're going to talk about is weeds. When I put all these trees in the ground, if y'all remember right, I went ahead and put cardboard around all of the trees. And as you can tell, around the trees, there's not really any weeds popping up. It's where the cardboard's not, and that mulch is not doing as well as I wanted it to do. Not too surprising, a lot of stuff around here is very aggressive. So I don't know what to do to fix it. I don't want to spray anything that will kill the grass or any of the stuff just because these are such young trees and I don't want to mess with them. What I may end up doing is, like I said in the video that I planted all these, not wanting to, pull back the mulch and go ahead and put down something that covers a little bit larger area for the whole row. And that way I won't have to deal with it. Another thing I might do is just for the next couple weeks to months, slowly pick up everything that comes out of the ground and hopefully it just starts to stop popping up. This is also the pomegranate tree. I wanted to stop at this one in particular to show the weed issue, but also talk about the ant killer that I had placed around this tree. I don't know if y'all remember or not, but in the original video, when I put down this mulch, there was thousands of fire ants for some reason in that mulch bag. So I couldn't do anything but put ant killer around the tree and hope that it killed it or killed the ants and didn't affect the tree. This tree right now looks perfectly fine. As you can see, it's actually putting on a pomegranate and it doesn't show any issues from ants. It does show, like I mentioned, a little bit of overwatering, just the leaves turning yellow and then burning. And so that to me shows me that these guys are just getting too much water right now. But yeah, besides that, the ant killer really didn't affect it from what I can see. Got a nice little pomegranate coming in and I'm excited to see what happens with that. Besides that, there really hasn't been too many other big issues that I have to worry about. It's been pretty easy going. Now, it has been only a month and a half, so we'll see in a couple months from now, even a couple weeks, if I can recover from the overwatering, but also if any other issues arise. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is some of the winds. Obviously, this little pomegranate's awesome. Some of the fig trees are starting to put on little figs, so that's pretty cool to see that it's actually continuing. I don't see any stunted growth besides the one fig tree that doesn't have, or it has issues with overwatering. Everything else has been doing pretty well. One thing that I will show you here in a second is the amount of growth that the two varieties or two trees that I put in after I posted that video and how well they've been doing, so that it really shows to me that things are growing and it's not as bad as it looks on the outside necessarily. So let's go over to the Satsuma and the banana tree and I'll talk to you a little bit more there. These are the two trees that I planted after I posted that original video. One is a Arctic Frost Satsuma and the next is a blue Java banana tree. And I know it's not, banana trees aren't actually trees, but that's what they're called, so we're going to go with it. And for those of y'all who don't know, banana trees are actually more like a grass or a herb than they are an actual tree, just because they actually replicate from the pups that they put off and the way that they grow. But as you can see, this Satsuma is doing fantastic. A lot of this green growth that you see all over it, not the dark green, is brand new growth. So it exploded once I put it in the ground and it looks amazing. The only issue I see here is a little bit of leaf curling, nothing major. So to me that makes it, or that shows me that these guys are dealing with a little bit of overwatering, which we've already discussed. But the fact that they're growing that quickly and that great is awesome to see. So that's a great thing to see, and it's really good win. Now for this banana tree, when I first planted it in the ground, it only had 2 leaves on it. And so a matter of 3 weeks, we now have 4 extra, because this one's about to open up, 4 extra leaves. So it's growing great. And this is one of the few trees that when I put it in the ground, I couldn't put a root guard like I did the rest of these trees. And the reason being is banana trees grow pups. What I mean is that they grow these little other trees around them, and that's what takes over whenever the mother tree is done producing bananas. So I didn't want that to affect me getting more banana trees in later. Now thankfully I haven't noticed any gopher or mole holes that are new, so I think that we got the guy, which will be nice. But overall I'm really happy that it's doing as well as it is without having that guard, but also just growing very quickly. But besides that, I mean, I don't really have much to show y'all. Hopefully I will have some more videos about the cabin out shortly, but also as soon as I get some more growth or something crazy or show you guys what happened with the overwatering. I'll give you all an update on the garden. Besides that, you all have a wonderful day.